Good evening and welcome back to the Geelong Regiona Soccer Show podcast. And it's time now for our first guest for tonight. But before we do that, we're going to play a little bit of a video clip from about 7 years ago where Archie Thompson, the great Archie Thompson, former Melbourne Victory legend, he held an interview with our next guest, Ante. And this is it's quite a touching 2-minute video, and it's like a little bit of an intro clip to our tonight's guest.
Tell us a little bit about your condition and when you were diagnosed.
So I was basically 17 years old, was diagnosed with a condition called primary sclerosing cholangitis, PSC for short. It's a very slow progressing disease, and like every, youngster who grew up playing soccer, had aspirations to try and play at an elite level. Trying to play seniors, that kind of thing. I was always on medications which affected my weight. I wanted to play soccer, that's what I wanted to do, but unfortunately because of my health, I didn't get to live that. When I actually was told that I needed a liver transplant, it's quite difficult to deal with. It's a bit concerning for all the family and all your friends, knowing that if you don't get one, the consequences could be pretty dire. I did get a call 4 months from the date that I was activated on the transplant list. Went to the hospital in the morning, walked into the room, in tears, thinking it's going to happen. After an agonising 6 or 7 hours, we were told that it didn't go ahead. It was a difficult day, that one, because my wife, Kay, was pregnant, and we'd been trying for 2.5, 3 years to have a child, not knowing whether I'd actually make it to be around for the birth of our daughter. It was quite difficult. 4 months after that, the transplant coordinator gave me a call and said there may be another match. Having to say goodbye to my family before actually knowing I was going to have the surgery was a bit of a weird situation, but thankfully it all went well. 24 hours, my jaundice has disappeared, my eyes were white, felt an immediate difference. One organ donation can help to improve the lives of up to 10 people. Watching my daughter Eva grow, it's been the best 2 years of my life. Without the generous donation I received from my donor, I wouldn't have been able to live that.
And it's a very warm welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Bellbrae resident and newly selected Australian national football team member for the World Transplant Games, Ante. Ante, good evening, and how are you?
I'm good, Tonchi. How are you going?
Very well, mate. Very well. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Before we talk about the World Transplant Football Cup, or the Transplant Football World Cup, and your selection in the Australia team, you're a resident of Bellbrae, but you're actually originally a Melbourne boy, yourself and your wife, and you came down here a couple of years ago. But you come from a very famous footballing family. Let's talk a little bit about that. But how long have you been here in Geelong, and how did you sort of come about to decide to live in Geelong?
Yeah, so it's been about 2.5 years. We obviously moved. I grew up in St Albans, obviously playing at St Albans Dynamo as a junior my whole life, and then we after COVID and obviously just with work and everything that was going on in life, we decided to basically just have a different pace, I guess, and a different upbringing for our children. In that we wanted a little bit more nature and a bit more land. Similar way that we grew up back in the in the 80s and 90s, where they spend more time outside. So that was a big push for us to try and get the kids outside. And I think I just wanted to slow down with work, and that was probably the main reason.
Yeah. Now, as you said, you come from a very famous footballing family. Your brother Ivan was well-known NSL striker, played for the Melbourne Knights and later at South Melbourne as well. And you yourself, growing up back in the days, you were a very, very talented footballer, but then tragedy sort of struck around about the age of 17, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I, from the age of 17, I was diagnosed with a liver condition out of the blue, really. Got home from school one day, was feeling unwell, went to the doctors and had some blood tests done. And from then on, basically, I had, was diagnosed with a liver condition. But then subsequently, a year after that, I ended up in hospital and then had Crohn's disease as well. So it was kind of, a digestive issue as well as a liver issue. And at that time I was, breaking through the seniors, playing under Mickey Peterson at St Albans Dynamo. But, I guess with all the treatments that happen as you are trying to get on top of these different illnesses and diseases, the different side effects. So I'm, at my time after I went to Green Gully under Ian Dobson, I decided to just give it a rest and obviously let my health, focus on my health, because I was, with all the medications I was on, I was really, not very mobile, and it was affecting obviously my performance and stuff. So, yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to pursue, I guess, the semi-professional career that I wanted in the NPL or in the Premier League back then. But fortunately enough, I'm quite healthy now and trying to make up for it, I guess, at 44.
Yeah, so in the prime of your footballing career, so to speak, you're 17 and it's been cruelly cut short by this degenerative disease. And you were basically told you'd need a transplant, or otherwise, things were going to be rather bleak for you. And as we saw from that little introductory video with Archie Thompson, first of all, can you believe 7 years have passed since then?
I know, it's so quick, yeah.
Time flies, but then obviously, ups and downs of all of that. First time there was a bit of a strikeout, but then you did manage to get the transplant, and to say that was life changing is just an understatement, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt, Tonchi. It's as a youngster growing up, it's really not something that I ever thought about. Transplants in general, but obviously with the life-saving gift that I've been afforded. Like I said, that first dummy run, they call it, when you were called for a transplant, you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's going to happen soon, because the way it works is basically on how sick a person is, in terms of what the order, in terms of which they get a transplant. So being 4 months after I got listed, I was, my mindset was, okay, well, it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen soon. And then, it didn't. It was another 3 months. So really the mental aspect of it at that point was really quite challenging, because your life's on hold. You're basically waiting. You can feel your from a physical perspective, you're deteriorating, you're not feeling well. And like I said, for us, it was an extra added stress because Kaya was pregnant with our daughter Eva. And as you can imagine, as a first time dad, it's pretty scary. Yeah. Not knowing whether you're going to be around for the birth of your daughter. So thankfully it all went well with the surgery, and Eva arrived 4 months later.
It's such a beautiful story in the end, but it certainly could have been such a tough and a tragic story in many ways. But the good news doesn't stop there. Look, Geelong is renowned as having been the home of many Socceroo greats. We talk about Steve Horvath, we talk about Josip Skorko and the Socceroos. In more recent times, I guess we've even got Adrian Leia as well, who lives down Torquay Way and heavily involved with Curva coaching. And in recent times, I guess we've got a Matilda in Kyra Cooney Cross from Jan Judd. Yeah. But I guess, mate, you're now added to that list as an Australian national team representative. And, mate, we're going to adopt you as a Geelong out and out Geelongian. You've been here for 2 years, so you qualify for that. But selected for the the Australian national team for the inaugural football. Is it Transplant Football World Cup?
Transplant Football World Cup. Yeah,
that's right. Next month in Italy, in Cervia. Mate, tell us about this and how this has come about.
Yeah, so this was meant to actually go ahead in 2020, but obviously stopped in its tracks due to COVID. So the actual Transplant Football Club was created by the ex-chairman, who was the late Matty Hemstork. Unfortunately, Matty passed away in 2022 suddenly, but he was the driver behind creating the football club. He was a two-time kidney transplant recipient.
Yep.
And he was really passionate about the sport, but also getting people actively involved after transplant. In general, just keeping fit and healthy. He actually worked for Transplant Australia at the time. And he, along with Chris Thomas, the CEO of Transplant Australia, created a football commission at the World Transplant Games Federation and basically put in, a submission to come up with this idea to have a Transplant Football World Cup. And I guess they made it happen, you know what I mean? It was, like I said, it was planned for 2020, but stopped in its tracks. But, once everything kind of, slowed down in terms of the COVID restrictions, we went back into planning mode. And, we this year held a national camp and trials for the World Cup and we had quite a few people, I think 55 people from around Australia who submitted interest in being involved with the club. And I think we had 30 odd people at the trials, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that was held under at Valentine Sports Park in the home of Football New South Wales. And
yes.
we had former A-League player Josh Rose was the coach that helped us through the selections. And yeah, that was obviously a process that in March, and then we made these selections for the team. I think it was in April, and ever since then we're kind of been in planning to, for this obviously the inaugural World Cup, which I think this time there is about 11 teams participating. And for the first one, I think it's that's a great effort to obviously get everyone involved.
Fantastic! That is absolutely awesome. Now there's a website here, and obviously one of the purposes of this also is to raise awareness of donations. And there it is. You can help out, donatelife.gov.au. So those who can donate, please do so. And if you can't, please help raise awareness. And I think you made a point, was it in that video, one organ donor can save up to 10 lives as well. And that's quite an incredible statistic.
Yeah, I think the updated figures, I think nowadays are more like 7, but yeah, I mean it's pretty amazing in terms of the impact that one organ donation can have. But more importantly, I think what happens is sometimes the family don't know the wishes of the individuals, and obviously at a time of grief, when you're dealing with a death of a loved one, sometimes those wishes don't get honoured. So a lot of people do register, but more importantly, it's also important to let your family and your loved ones know of your wishes, so that when that time, if it does come, obviously they know to honour what obviously you want to do.
Yeah, mate. Congratulations on your selection. Fantastic.
Thanks, Ante.
And for all the things that you do for the raising awareness of donor transplants, a donor is just amazing. So well done to you as well. And it's great to see. And we look forward to seeing you around the Geelong football community for many, many years to come.
Well, I'll be playing in the Masters League this year, so I'm sure I'll see many of you around.
Excellent. And who are you playing for, if you don't mind us asking?
I'm unsure. I'm unsure as yet. There's a few people knocking on the door, so we'll have to see.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's great to see. So look forward to that. Ante, all the best in Italy and all the best for the future as well.
Thank you, Tonchi, and thanks for your time.
Good on you. Ante Kerlic, the newest Socceroo, the newest Australian national team representative here in Geelong. We're going to certainly claim him as one of our own. Folks, don't go away. We're going to be back very, very shortly with our next guest. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show.